Hello there, welcome to another Hollow Knight guide. Today we are going over the game's spells and their upgrades. Spells in Hollow Knight are primarily used in combat through soul to deal extra damage. Though the acquisition of certain ones can make the traversal of Hallownest easier, and sometimes spells can even allow you to access entire new areas. Before we begin, however, I would like to express that I will be covering spoilers for the game, so watch at your own peril. Hope you enjoyed the video! The first spell you are likely to acquire in Hollow Knight is Vengeful Spirit. Vengeful Spirit is a spell that will enable you to attack enemies from a distance, bypassing close-quarter defenses and allowing you to trigger explosions from a distance. However, upon hitting a wall or similar surface, the spell will dissipate. You will need to defeat False Knight to acquire this spell. In the center of Forgotten Crossroads, there is a boss arena. After defeating the False Knight that resides inside, to the left is a room of corridors leading upwards and back to Cornifer. Following the corridor upwards will be a place called the Ancient Mound, with a mysterious figure inside. They introduce themselves as a snail shaman and summon a Vengeful Spirit to assist you. Jump to grab the spell. Desolate Dive is a spell that will send the knight crashing down towards the ground, damaging enemies and destroying floors along the way. Once the knight reaches the ground, a shockwave is generated, damaging enemies nearby. As this attack is close quarters, it gives a few iframes so that you can get out of harm's way after the spell. Muffling Cloak, Mantis Claw, and either City Crest from the False Knight or Tram Pass from Deep Nest are required to obtain this spell normally. I will be explaining the method of obtaining it from obtaining the City Crest. Once past the gate, you are going to want to keep heading right and down until you officially discover City of Tears, when the name of the city shows up. From there, you're going to want to take the upper scaffolding right until you find Cornifer and a toll bench. Once there, take the bench if you can afford it. And head to the far right of the previous room. There should be a door leading to the Soul Sanctum. Head inside, and you will fight a Soul Twister, which will shoot humming orbs at you periodically. Once you defeat it, head upwards through the now open door, and keep heading up, hitting any levers you'll find along the way to open up shortcuts. About halfway through, you'll find a mini-boss who is similar to Soul Twister, but he has a nail, like you. Once you defeat the Soul Warrior, keep heading up until you reach the top. Where will be a place to drop down. Take the souls into jars to heal along the way, and head into the arena. There will be a boss here to ambush you. Once you seemingly defeat the Soul Master, take the item he drops. Psych! Fight's not over yet. After defeating phase 2 of this fight, the Soul Master will actually drop Desolate Dive this time. Howling Wraiths is a spell that sends soul upwards, damaging enemies above. It's a fairly situational spell, but can do large amounts of damage when used properly. It's particularly useful against stationary bosses and arena battles. You will need Mothling Cloak and Mantis Claw to acquire the spell. The Howling Wraith spell is found in the Overgrown Mound on the leftmost side of Fog Canyon. The Overgrown Mound is protected by thorns and lightning bugs. Once inside it, there will be an arena battle against several squits, little mosquitoes. Afterwards, the spell is free for taking just to the right. Shade's Soul is an upgrade for Vengeful Spirit that transforms the spell into a void-based attack, where the knight shoots a black projectile that does increased damage and goes through walls. You'll need Mothling Cloak, Mantis Claw, and the Elegant Key, which you can get from Sly after returning his storeroom key. Above the entrance to Soul Sanctum is a door that requires the Elegant Key to open. Once you have bought the Elegant Key from Sly, open the door and head inside. Inside, you will have to fight an upgraded version of the Soul Warrior boss fight, with more health and little, follies that spawn? I believe that's what they're called. Head to the room above after defeating him, and you should see a snail shaman hooked up to some devices. Interacting with it will give you Shade Soul. Descending Dark is the upgraded version of Desolate Dive. It does more damage and has a larger area effect, creating 2 shockwaves. You will need Mothling Cloak, Mantis Claw, Desolate Dive, Crystal Heart. I'm pretty sure you need Crystal Heart. And I would highly recommend Lumify Lantern, which can be gotten from Sly. Once you enter Crystal Peak from the Forgotten Crossroads, go right until you find a bench. From that bench, you'll want to go to the room to the right, and then go up until you see a second Crystal Hunter and go right again. It is possible to navigate this dark room without Lumify Lantern, but it's much easier to do it with the Lumify Lantern. On the other side of the dark room, there will be a gap that you have to cross with Crystal Heart. You may be able to cross it with Monarch Wings, but I wouldn't bet on it. And there will be the crystallized mound on the other side of that. Inside Crystallized Mound, there will be a floor that needs to be broken with Desolate Dive. There's a little soul provider just outside the room. Navigate the area and follow the crystallized platforms to find a way out. There, you'll find a snail shaman encased in crystal. Freeing them will give you Descending Dark. Abyss Shriek is an upgrade to Howling Wraiths that makes the spell larger and more powerful. It is arguably the least changed out of the 3 spells. You will need Mothling Cloak, Mantis Claw, Howling Wraiths, and King's Brand to acquire the spell. Once you have King's Brand, go down to the bottom of the Ancient Basin and open the door with the same symbol on it. Afterwards, drop down to the bottom of the Abyss and head to the left. keep heading left, while gaining soul from the shadow creepers. And at the end of the room, you'll want to stand on the platform and cast Howling Wraiths. The spell will transform into the Abyss Shriek. That's all the spells and their upgrades. Let me know if this helped and what I can make a guide on for next. And I hope you guys have a great day. Bye!